Yeah, so those are the 11 modules that are planned to cover in this kind of a training, which yeah, used to be called Introduction to Supercomputing, but it is more introduction on how to use the supercomputers. There are several aspects of using the supercomputers that are not very straightforward and are very different to the way we work on even on our Linux workstations. So that's really what we are going to cover today. Not at all how to program for the supercomputers or yeah, how to develop code, etc. It's more the first impression and the first of all, uh, or at least many of the main aspects on how people work in the supercomputer. Um, so the slides are very nice. This is not my work, so I really find them uh, really nice. So there are some icons there that you need to be aware of, new concepts or some warnings that you need to come back and read again to have them in mind, best practices, etc. So those are the indications in the slides. Oh, so that's yeah, sorry. So that was basically I went too fast on this. So I guess I hope there are not too many questions about the icons. But then 11 topics are yeah, brief introduction and how to log in. So those are listed. I guess the main well, all are important, but I guess this part of running jobs and the scheduler is sort of the main part of the training. Uh, so I'm going to try to go fast and spend a bit more time on the part of the running jobs and the scheduler. But I guess if you have any questions as I go through, just let me know. I'm usually a slow teacher, so I will try to rush myself. So probably that will still be normal to slow pace. But if for any reason you feel I'm rushing, just let me know and we can spend some time in some specific slides that I may be jumping fast. Okay. So then that finishes the first presentation. There. So I guess at least this one, if you did the Linux training or the Git training on Setonix, you already know how to log in. But probably there are some details there to mention. So this short presentation is about logging into Setonix. Again, the icons. Yeah, so basically, you already know that you don't need to be on site to work on the supercomputer. Basically, all of us, even if we are in the building, are doing remote access to the supercomputer. It's never a direct terminal connected to the computer that we are using. Probably there are, but I think there aren't. So everyone is connecting remotely to the supercomputer via the login nodes. And usually the connections are via commands. So a terminal and a Linux command to connect to a supercomputer. So here's the schematic of any of us working on our desk, and then through the internet connect to the login nodes. So these login nodes are the portal to the computer. So you can there organize your files, basically set up the simulations. Check results. That check results mean basically just check if they are finished and check a quick. Those mean sort of quick checks. So you don't basically analyze your results in the login node. So it's basically quick check of the results. Somehow, usually you will need to, and that's very practical, you will need to have a way of knowing that the simulation went right or wrong. So that's basically the checking of results, not the results themselves. But there is and even if you already know how to log in, etc., this is, I guess, one of the very important messages. So that's why I'm going through the presentation, which is be mindful. So login nodes are shared resources, and many times they get full, and many times that slows other users. What usually has happened is that on purpose or not on purpose, people start running codes in the login nodes. Not supercomputing jobs, but running heavy heavy operations in the login nodes that shouldn't happen there. For example, even compilation of your codes should not happen in the login nodes. Although login nodes have the same architecture of the compute nodes and you have access to the software for compiling, if your compilation is something that will take, I don't know, more than a minute, then do not use the login nodes for compiling. So the only kind of compilations that should happen in the login nodes are these kind of quick test codes, basically compilations that go as fast as just hitting the keyboard, and in a second you have the compilation ready, and then you do the tests, etc. So for heavy compilations should be done in the compute nodes. So basically, yeah, the login nodes are just for connecting, browsing your directories, organizing your data, and editing your scripts for submission. Very lightweight tasks. So be mindful of that. Okay, time for the demonstration of how to connect. Connection is via the SSH command, and for that you will need some kind of tool in your own computer that allows you to execute that SSH command. So in Windows, we recommend to use MobaXterm. That tool is free and downloadable, and in Linux you should always have these terminals available, and also the Mac also has terminals available for doing the connections. I know why it's been years I haven't used Windows, but I know recent Windows versions also have sort of a Linux integrated. I don't know if that one has a terminal by itself, but probably. But anyway, at the end, you will need a terminal that understand Linux commands, because this SSH command is a Linux command. And SSH to the supercomputer. So I guess you already have once you have a terminal, SSH, what we are recommending is use this -y, which allows also the transfer of some graphics through the connection if needed. So SHY and then your training account. Mine, if I remember, was co001 at setonix.pawsey.org.au. And then you will be asked for a password. So once you put the password, you receive a message that I usually don't read, but the recommendation and the best practice is to spend some time to read the message. So there's always this quokka and a general message, but at the end of the message, there is usually very important information. So this is the main step for connection. Use the SSH. Yeah, and check for the message of the day. There is this other message of the scratch purge policy. So if you read your message, it should be saying that for any file that is in Scratch and has been there for 30 days unaccessed, then we will remove. And that is, again, because Scratch is a shared resource and limited, and mainly we need enough space for the new data that it will be coming to be available. So only 30 days, and then move it to Acacia or to your own institution, or remove it. Yeah, one of the things that we always say, and I don't know how much we are heard, but it is important that if you are not using your files anymore in Scratch, take some time for deleting them yourself rather than just leaving it there and letting us delete it, because yeah, it takes, for us, it's much more difficult to be checking every single file and check if it's old or it's not old, and then decide to remove it. Basically, you take action on that and remove it yourself. The maintenances, etc. So yeah, those are the kind of messages. Okay, so there's an exercise here for you. So what is the name of the login server? What is the current directory when you log in? What does it contain? And what are the values of these 3 environment variables? So go for it, and yeah, if you can put your results in the chat, that's fine, or just let me know when I should move forward, or if you face or if you have problems identifying any of these questions. Yeah. Yeah, so I see Setonix 01. Oh, well, Setonix-01. So that's a login node. So I mentioned that we have 9 login nodes. So probably some of you will land in another login node different to the 01. The ones I have been, so not all the 9 login nodes are available right now for you. So we are in the services team, we are pushing to put all of them available rather than just using a couple or 3 of them. But I think so far at this point in time, not the 9 are there. So probably you will see numbers from 1 to 3. I think those are just 3 login nodes that are available right now. But yeah, we are pushing to have more. Yeah. So 1 to 3 is usually what is appearing on these days. Yeah, so you already had some so my scratch. Yeah, so my scratch. So the variables are uh, set up for you to have quick access to your own space to where you will save your data. So you can do, for example, a cd space home or cd space my scratch, or you can echo the variable. So you can do echo dollar my scratch or my software, and that will give you the content of the variable. You uh, you always need to use the dollar when you want to display the content of the variable or to use it in a command. So you are saying that, so in this case, if I echo my scratch, oops, yeah. So probably Jasmine is your mistake, I'm guessing. So what you should be seeing for this variable is, so this variable only has, or has been set to has that path. So the idea is to use that variable in your scripts, and that will identify your own space. So for example, if I want to write something in Scratch, usually I can do cd dollar my scratch. Oops. Uh, and I don't know if you are using this already, but if you are half of the command and you click the tab key, that will complete the command. In this case, it identifies that there is a variable that starts with my sc, and if I click the tab command, it completes it. And now I'm there. I'm in Scratch courses COU001. That's my own space for me to write. So that's where I will save things in Scratch. In theory, there should be nothing because I have not been using this account, but I know there's something there that probably is a leftover from previous training. So that's how you use this Scratch. So I saw that someone is mentioning that there is a lot of things in Scratch, and yes, because Scratch is the place. So it's a file system, and there are directories for everyone there. So all the projects have directories there, but you cannot go in. You cannot go in there. For example, if I want to go to M49, I shouldn't be able to go there. Permission denied. So I only have permission to go to my own project. So if I remember well, it was courses, courses 01. So all these accounts are in a project, grouped in this project in courses 001. So here I will see all the directories of my teammates, in this case you. So there is all the accounts and some other teammates. There is me, Espinosa, but I'm also 001. I should be able to go to see what my teammates have. So I probably can go to code 029. And I can see what code 029 has. So if I list there with the -L, ls-L, I will see who owns this. So the owner of all these files is code 029. So I can see, I can go there, I can read, but if you see the permissions of everything here, read and write and execute permissions are for the user only, for the person that is code 029. But in the group, I'm part of the group courses 012. I can only read and execute, or probably execute. There is something here for the execution permission, but not write. So I will not be able to change anything that is there. I can only read it or execute it. So yeah, I can go to these other folders and read what is there. So this is sort of a way of sharing information in your own project. So your other teammates in the project can go there. And if I can go back to the place where I write things, so that these things are mine, I can delete them, I can write, so I can remove the heaps or heap thing that is something that is a leftover from the previous training. So I can do that, but only with my own stuff. So the other place is my software. So this is where we recommend users to install their things. So this is a permanent space. So we don't delete anything that is in software. So that's the place where you install stuff. So that's why we have this $my software for you to easily go there. And $home is not created by us. It's a usual environment variable for Linux. So you can go home. There's nothing visible in home, but if I do ls-la, I can see all the hidden files that are there. All these configuration directories and files reside in home. Okay. So that's, I guess, mainly the idea of the exercise, to explore what is there. I don't know if you have any questions. Cool. So if you forget your password, there is a way to reset your password. And this is, other thing is important. If you try to connect and you fail many times, I think it is 3 times in a row, your IP address will be marked as blacklisted. So you will not be able to connect again. Even if you remember your password, or if you find it and try it again and you are sure that it is the right one, you will be banned for connecting. So you will need to contact the help desk and ask for a reset of your password. Reset of your password and a clearance from the blacklist. So even if you go to the password reset, if you are already blacklisted, the password reset would not help you. So because it is the IP address, the one that is blacklisted. So this is important. And many times this has happened with, for example, MoveX term or these kind of tools for connection that has sort of an automatic cyclic attempting to connect. And if the password that is set in the tool is wrong, it will try to connect many times in a row, and then you will get blacklisted. So the recommendation is not to save your passwords in the tools, because that may happen. Okay. Yeah. Another login problem, which is very common, is that you are not aware that the computer is down for maintenance or because of an incident. So if you see that you cannot connect, is the very first thing you need to do is to check if the computer is up or down. Okay, there is another way of connecting that is using an SSH key. This is well documented. I don't like this demo very much, so it is better if you can go and check our documentation on how to use SSH keys. But the idea is to be able to connect in a secure way without using the password connection. So for example, I have that already set for my own account in Setonix. So if I do SSH, then using the SSH keys, which is these are keys that part is resident in Setonix itself and part is resident in your own computer. So that those keys do the hand sharing for the access, and then you don't need to type your password again. So that is very cool. And yeah, just so the login with the SSH keys is, I should be able to go with this link. Yeah, so that link is broken. So let's find it. User documentation. So here is the supercomputing documentation, connecting to a supercomputer. And here is the use of SSH keys for authentication. And yeah, there is the explanation on how to do it. Yeah, it's a straightforward step-by-step thing to follow, but I was thinking to skip it as an exercise today. But you can do it for your own account. For this course's accounts, it doesn't make sense, but for your own account, I guess it's important. And it's very practical. It has, in theory, it's even more secure than typing your password, because passwords can be catched by hackers when you type them on the internet, and the SSH keys seem to be more secure.